America is the Titanic. Get on the life raft before it's too late. Too late. Too late. Brandon Gentili here. The Titanic was the unsinkable ship. This is a super important article. It's only a couple minutes long, but this is incredibly important because this has the fate of your future. This is not just America, but it's really everything. It's every government, it's every fiat currency out there. This, in 3 minutes, is going to explain exactly what's going on. The FTX blow up, currencies, governments, the legacy banking system, all in the next few minutes. This is why this is so important. You trade your time for money. That's hopefully what you do, but most of us trade our time for infinite currency, our finite time for infinite things. Who would make that trade? If you were going to sell a car and someone said, I'm going to give you blades of grass or grains of sand, you would never in a million years accept that trade. Except that's what we do our entire life. We go to work, trade our finite time, the only thing that's truly finite, and then we trade it for infinite pieces of paper, fiat currencies, or infinite digits in a computer. Literally infinite. So you tell me, is that a smart trade? Is that a trade a smart investor would make? A smart money person would make? You tell me. So why do we make that trade? Why do we make that trade? That's the question. The Titanic was the unsinkable ship, built by Harland and Wolff and operated by White Star Line to never sink and be the pinnacle of maritime safety. As we know, the hubris caught up to the crew and those on board. As the legend goes, many of those on board still remained adamant that this ship wasn't sinking. The ship could never sink. What are you talking about, sir? Literally, while the ship was going and slipping under the waves, people, to the last moments, said, it can't. They were so brainwashed into thinking and hearing the marketing and the hubris and the ego over and over again that it can't sink, it couldn't sink, that they couldn't even, with the truth in front of their eyes, seeing with their own eyes, going right into the water, they still could not believe they were going under the waves. Think about that. Truly, truly think about that. So that's why I'm empathetic, because we're all those people at one time. I was that person at one time. I've been through the gauntlet. It's not that Bitcoiners are geniuses and we're some all high mighty people. We're just average people. We're just average plebs. We just have the scars to prove it. Of the gauntlet, going through the gauntlet, of being screwed over before, seeing politics, being screwed over on both sides of the aisle, having politicians continually do exactly opposite of what they say they're going to do, screwing you over, sending your money all over the world, and you not getting a vote on it, taking your money, stealing it from you because it's a fiat currency, and they can do that through inflation. So stealing all your wealth, stealing all of it, taking a time away, ultimately what it is, your time and energy, you're taking it, stealing that from you, time you could be spending with your family, your friends, your loved ones, your kids, and taking that from you, literally stealing that from you, because that's all it is. Money is a representation of your time and energy. It's a container for your time and energy. They are stealing that from you and saying, screw you, you're going to work for me because I'm stealing all that wealth, that time and energy from you, and I'm going to deploy it wherever I see fit. Ukraine, China, Russia, pet projects, Solyndra, gun running schemes, you name it. They're going to do what they want with it, and then it turns back around to promote, have more propaganda, to have you vote for how they want you to vote. Ads, billboards, marketing schemes. Think about the clown world that is. And we let that happen all because we accept a terrible trade. We accept infinite digits in dollars, paper dollars, for our finite time. So how do we fix that? How do we make it a finite thing for a finite thing? How do we make it a fair trade? Yes, you guessed it. Bitcoin, of course. Are you crazy? The US dollar is going up and Bitcoin is much too volatile, say the people on the stern of the Titanic, as it goes up into the air and the dollar rising in purchasing power, as we've been seeing. A perfect example the last number of months. Things are crashing all around, but the dollar is going up in strength. And people hear headlines of the dollar's never been more strong against the euro and all these other things. The hilarity of what's going on. And that's a relative strength. That's the relative strength of the dollar is going up compared to all other government currencies, which, again, newsflash, the dollar is up here and it's the reserve currency and it's tied to all these currencies. So all these are tied to the dollar up here. So all these other government currencies in the world, they're all just tied to this. That's it. So it's just a confidence game. Once that confidence pops, boom, those balloons pop, everything just deflates and falls to the ground, goes to zero. It's natural state, which is zero, because they're not backed by anything. They're not backed by gold and silver, which they were before, actual things of value. They weren't attached to work. They weren't attached to value or energy. Thus, where Bitcoin enters the fray. And now we have something that's actually tied to physics, reality, work, energy, nature's law, mathematics, That is the discovery of Bitcoin. It is gold times a billion. It is gold on steroids and everything good you can think of in the world. That's what Bitcoin is. And we have that now. Again, Bitcoiners are the ones in the lifeboat. You're sinking. Get on board. The fiat system is going down as we see here. And we have, again, the fiat currencies all over the world, the US dollar. Oh, we're the reserve currency. That can't go down. And all the other currencies around the world saying, that's crazy. You guys are crazy. Bitcoiners, you guys are leaving in the raft. You guys are going to die. You're just going out in a raft by yourself. And look, we're in this huge ship. We're in this huge system, this Leviathan. Haha, we win. However, the Bitcoiners have the advantage because they have pulled away from the boat and they can see, they've accepted reality and said, yes, the ship is going down. I can look over the side and see we are going into the water. We are slipping under the waves. And the Bitcoiners have now pulled away from the boat and now we're separate. And we look back and we see this ship slowly going in under the waves and we can see the whole picture. We can see the 30,000 foot view of what's actually happening. And again, I believe it's the Matrix where they talk about people are so hopelessly dependent on that system. They will fight to keep that system. And I forget what the quote is now, but I'm paraphrasing. And it's, it's very hard to convince a man that, he is wrong if he's paid to not be wrong, in essence. You can't pay someone. It's hard when they're paid to be stuck in that system. It's hard to tell them that that system is wrong, right? Or that 2 + 2 is really 4. It's not 5. So again, does this sound familiar? Does it sound familiar at all? Sound like any of the systems we have running today at all? The crew believed to their core and the passengers that nothing could go wrong. None of them believed that could go wrong. So ego and hubris sank that ship. That's what sunk it. Not the physical, things actually people think like, oh, they hit an iceberg. Yeah, but why'd they hit the iceberg? We just think of things as humans like in this linear fashion. And we don't think of things in 3D or 5D, 4D. We don't think outside the box as much. We don't think in exponential terms. Hubris and ego. That's what sunk the ship. That's why so many people died. Think of how many people they never might have hit the ship if they didn't have the ego and hubris thinking and being told that, oh, they can't sink, we can do whatever we want, right? Their guards down, they're not aware. And then when it does get hit, well, now there's 1,500 people that passed away. Did all those people have to pass away? No, a lot of them, we're not going down. We're not going down. That is a perfect analogy for the system we're in right now. We're going to explain that right here. The FTX blow-up was just another exercise in ego and hubris. Surprise, the good old boys club. And not what you know, but who you know. If you have connections and you can get closer to the power teat, then you can get away with a lot, of course. That's the fiat system. That's the fiat normie world, this garbage system that we have set up where central bankers run the world and steal your time and energy, your wealth, from you through inflation. Bitcoin levels the playing field so that only those who create or provide value get ahead. A transparent ledger where we can audit and see what's going on. And it's uncorruptible, uncensorable, permissionless, trustless. Never be more than 21 million, meaning if you hold it, your purchasing power will go up over time. Your standard of living will increase. Prices come down. Instead of the opposite, the inflationary world, that's a deflationary world. We have an inflationary world right now where everything has to keep speeding up. The hamster wheel has to keep going faster and faster just to power the engine. And if eventually it just starts spinning so fast, everything just blows apart. It just flies apart. That's the system we have. And people wonder why they're getting more tired. They're getting higher in debt. I just saw the stat here that it's been 15-year high, Q3 debt increase, the average person. So their debt increasing at a 15-year high just in Q3. Again, unlike the current system, Bitcoin levels the playing field, not giving you level outcomes, but levels the playing field, the opportunities, so that only those who create or provide value can get ahead. Unlike we said yesterday, in yesterday's video, we talked about the top 1% or top 5% or in the bottom 5%, who those people both grift off the system. The top 5% are the grifters, the people that's living in the Hamptons, creating financial arbitrage, they just know the right connections, or the bottom 5% who just don't do anything. And there's a select few people that can't do anything truly, but there's many people at the bottom just sucking off the system and feeding off the system and at the work of all the people in the middle. So it gets rid of those 5, 10, 20% of people that are just grifting off the system on both ends. And it brings the power back to the issuer of the system, the people in the middle, and incentivizes those people to get off their behind and go actually provide value. The beauty, one of the many beauties of Bitcoin, the sheer irony in all this is that people are aghast at how far reaching this FTX disaster is inside of politics and geopolitics, not just in the financial community. So this spans way beyond the financial community, and we're seeing that tentacles run very, very deep in geopolitics, politics, and everything that's going on, regulators and people that have been bashing, the crypto world, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is different. Again, let's make that differentiation. Bitcoin is not crypto. This is crypto going on, crashing, exchanges, all this garbage going on. Bitcoin just sits over here on the side, just everyone's laughing at what's going on. TikTok, next block, just keeps going, and all those people and that system, that network, are just looking behind them, like you saw on the life raft here, just looking at the fiat system. The FTXs, the Coinbases, all these people, Celsius, Luna, all these people have blown up, all these exchanges, crypto, scam coins, all the altcoins. That is part of the fiat system. Those are just recreations of the fiat system, issuing their own tokens and centralized points of failure, centralized systems run by marketing teams. That is the legacy banking system. That is the crypto ecosystem. That is the dollar system, the fiat governments. That's that system, the legacy system, just being recreated in crypto. Bitcoiners sit over here in the life raft just being like, whatever, guys, you do you, I guess. And we're trying to get as many people in the life raft as possible. So again, unlike the current system where gambling connections get you ahead, Bitcoin is only a system where people who create or provide value get ahead. So creating products or services or delivering a service. Those are the people that get ahead. The sheer irony in all of this, again, like I said, is how far-reaching this is, and I think there's a lot more to be unraveled. We'll never know maybe how far deep this goes. I'm sure the politicians will cover a lot of it up, but you never know. I have hope. But the fact that this is exactly how the dollar and legacy banking system work, that's the craziest thing. They are built on a confidence game and Ponzi economics like we just talked about. And just some couple hilarious memes of what's going on. And again, it's only funny, like I said, because it's not that we're geniuses. Bitcoiners are geniuses, sound money advocates. Bitcoiners are people that have been through this gauntlet. They've been through this process. They've seen all these things. They've done the homework. And that's why they're so far down the rabbit hole and only push. And they're toxic to people who are pushing these scams, especially mainly to people like Sam Bankman. All these people that push these scams, they know better. They know what they're doing, and they are grifting off the system, using the average person as a pawn in their Ponzi and using them. That's the problem that Bitcoiners have. Anything that delays adoption of sound money, because sound money truly will usher in a new age, a new type of civilization where the playing field is leveled and the grifters at the top and bottom no longer have a say in the system. Everything is based off of work, proof of work. What kind of value do you provide to the system? It's not, oh, I was friends with this person at Harvard or in my Skull and Bone Society or whatever it is. You have to put in the work. And if you aren't, you're gone. That's the beauty of the system. And that's something that everyone can get around. That's why we talk about being the Constitution 2.0 or the Bill of Rights 2.0. Bitcoin, it's white paper, it's network, and the people in it right now are what are going to drive this bright orange future forward, this mission that we will change the world. That there is no doubt about that in my mind. We will, because the people involved, and we have truth on our side. We literally have truth on our side. Physics, reality, mathematics. A dollar, just like FTT token, is backed by confidence. Again, this is a token that FTX created, just like all these other crypto.com, Celsius, they all create their own tokens, issue it out of nowhere. Just magically they say it has value. It's just creating currency out of thin air. Some people call it counterfeiting. And then they just say, they have a marketing team to go push it and say, hey, look, this token has value. And then people rush in because they don't do due diligence. They don't think, unfortunately. And that's life. It is what it is. And then people get wrecked. And that's how we learn. That's how humans learn. Again, it's not actually backed by anything. All these tokens, they're not backed by anything. Other than the United States, the dollar, same thing, is not backed by anything at all. It's not backed by anything other than the U.S. military, we could say, pointing a gun to your head, and the United States demanding tax payments in that currency and the IRS knocking on your door. That's it. So it's not backed by anything. Money is a store of value. It's not, oh, hey, the government said to do this, and we're gonna come knock on your door if you didn't pay taxes in this legal tender. That's nothing. If they didn't do that by fiat, by decree, and say, oh, you have to pay your taxes in dollars or that asset itself, the dollar would fall to zero very quickly, just like Sam Bankman-Fried's worthless FTT token, his currency he created out of thin air. That's just exactly what the dollar is, created out of thin air. We have a real life example of how exactly the fiat government currencies, all of them, work. And that's the banking system. Just like we have said multiple times, go to the bank right now, try to take out $10,000, try to take out $50,000, 20, whatever. You can't. There are indefinite suspension of withdrawals at the bank right now. People are just like, oh, I can't withdraw my stuff, out of my crypto, out of these exchanges, all my altcoins, all this garbage. Well, guess what? That's how the banking system is every single day. They have a zero reserve. As far as my knowledge goes right now, they have a zero reserve requirement, meaning they don't have to keep any of your dollars at the bank. No one's dollars. Any depositors, none of your dollars are there. There's a zero reserve requirement, meaning they're just basically told on high to just lend out as much as possible, everything they can, because the dollar system is a debt and credit-based system. It needs debt to exist. If we shrink the debt, the whole system collapses on itself. This is why I have the debt down here, and why it just keeps growing every single day, because it's not backed by anything. So therefore, it needs credit and debits to, credit and debt to exist. It needs that to exist. Otherwise, the entire system implodes on itself. That is the big thing to understand. What is money? It's an economic container for your time and energy. And then also the dollar is and all fiat currencies are debt-based systems, meaning you can't pay off debts. You have to get people further and further into debt for the system to keep inflating under this Ponzi, this house of cards. And eventually that comes down. And that's where the life raft comes in. This thing is going down. It might take a while. It may take a few decades, and it's taken a few decades. It's 3 or 4 hours for the Titanic to sink, but it's going down. And we know for sure that the fiat system is going down because all fiat currencies have a 100% failure rate. 100% throughout the course of human history. Hundreds and hundreds of fiat currencies. All of them, zero. They all have gone to zero. And we know that that's going to happen. We don't know exactly when, but it's getting closer and closer, obviously. Bitcoin, you know what? So we know that's not going to survive. We know we're crazy if we keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So Bitcoin is really the only way out. And you know what? There's a chance, a meteor hits us and Bitcoin fails or something like that. Like there's a slim chance that Bitcoin, the life raft, gets swallowed up by the ocean. You're in the ocean in a life raft by yourself, but at least you give yourself a chance. You actually have a chance. And again, this isn't financial advice. It's not legal advice. It's not, whatever. This is just what I'm doing, what I see, what I've studied over the last 20 years in talking to people from all walks of life, experiencing things firsthand, earning it and experiencing it. This is what I have seen, from politics to money to business to investing, sound money, monetary history, you name it. This all comes together in this vector. Energy, climate, all comes to this vector, all these different vectors, and comes into Bitcoin and is literally cured. All these vectors are cured by Bitcoin. That's where you see people going down this rabbit hole and seeing the light, seeing the wizard behind the curtain. So again, it's not that we know, oh, hey, Bitcoin is just a thing, we're just randomly going over here. We know the system's going under the waves. We just don't know when. It's going slowly because it is the system that they're doing everything they can, stealing everyone's wealth. They're doing everything they can, increasing the debt limit. We're going to hear about that again this week. They're doing all these crazy Ponzi schemes and all these moves to try to keep pumping the system up. Oh, we need another $10 trillion. Oh, we need student debt relief. Oh, we need to pay for college. We need to pay for mortgages eventually. They're going to give us tax holidays at some point. They're going to give us all our taxes back probably. Kudos to Mike Maloney pointing that out years ago. They'll probably in the next 5 years, 10 years, they'll give us every tax we've ever paid because they're going to be doing everything they can to shove debt into the system. And that's why we hate Bitcoin. That's why we know, hey, this is our chance. This is, there's a chance we don't make it, but there's the best chance that we do make it. And we know for sure this other thing is going down. Again, this is the dollar against Bitcoin, just going through the floor over the last 5, 6, 7 years. So, that's it's just scared the hell out of every single holder of fiat currencies across the world. Yen, peso, dollar, renminbi, you name it. This is what's happening to your dollars or your fiat currency compared to Bitcoin. You are getting poorer and poorer every single day. The longer you hold, longer time horizon you hold fiat currencies, the poorer you get, especially compared to Bitcoin terms. And like I said, I already mentioned the debt, and these things just continually spinning up. Does anyone else ask why that is? The dollar in America is sinking over a long period of time, like the Titanic, like we said, 3 or 4 hours. The Bretton Woods 3 moment that Zoltan Pozsar talked about in February this year, with the USA taking Russia out of the SWIFT system. So just the dollar, the transfer payment system, was the U.S. shooting themselves in the foot. Felt good for a moment, short term. We're going to put flags in our profiles and try to make it look like we're doing these awesome things and these superficial things. It looked good in the short term, but now you have to live with the long-term ramifications of every country in the world. So you saw the ruble crash big time against the dollar right when that happened, and then like within the next month or two, it started recovering, and now it's past the dollar, or it was. I haven't checked it in a month or whatever it was, but then it actually overtook that. So how is that possible? That's because Russia actually has things of value. They actually have the commodities. They actually have gold and silver. We don't have anything. We're not providing anything. We just have the Ponzi economics and the financial arbitrage games that all of our quants and all the Wall Street elites and the unproductive class are playing here. And Putin's called that out. like him, love him, hate him, doesn't matter. He's calling the USA out and being like, cool, whatever. I have the oil, I have the gold, I have the things that matter, and you guys don't have anything. So do whatever you want. And I don't know who's winning the war, who's to say, but I tell you what, he looks fairly smart because of that. So this is very, very important. Again, you might have won the battle for a month, but you're losing the war. And this is anyone who holds things that have zero inherent value, like fiat currencies. Again, we want primary assets, not tertiary, not derivatives. We want the primary thing. And this has long-term ramifications that every country in the world and every holder of fiat currencies is realizing that at any minute they could be rug pulled by the reserve currency issuer. That meaning they could be frozen on the system, that if America decides they don't like you. 1 minute you're in, next minute you're frozen out. If the US doesn't like something you do, you say, gone, flick of a switch. That put the world on notice, and the dollar is on the clock. And here we go, central banks buying record amounts of gold in Q3. So we have ultimate debt increases right now, the most in 15 years, of the average person getting into the most that they have in 15 years before the last huge crash. And then at the same time, Q3, we have central banks and others buying the most amount of gold they have in, 40 years? 45 years? Exactly 45 years, 1967. Think about that. That is, we're living in clown world. We're living in absolute clown world. Sorry, that's 50 years, 55 years. So we're living in clown world, and this is why countries have been buying gold in record amounts this year since 1967. Also why Bitcoin adoption continues to surge higher. Like we said before, fundamentals of Bitcoin have never been higher. Adoption, number of wallets, number of people holding Bitcoin, number of Bitcoin not moving on chain, it's all growing. All the fundamentals are growing. You have BlackRock, Coinbase, all these people getting into the Bitcoin in the background as well. So where do we think this is going at the end of the day? Our job as those who are awake is to get as many people on their life rafts as possible. It's not that we will make it for sure. Like I said, we might get destroyed in that little life raft in the middle of the ocean. We might. At least we have a chance, though. We know, like we said, reiterating for sure, the Titanic, fiat currencies, America, the dollar are sinking and will go down. That's given. The time it takes to sink is what deceives people. The frog in the boiling pot. Inevitably, we need a way off the sinking ship to give ourselves a chance to survive. We need a money that is true, sound, tethered to reality. It's finite, just like our time. It's the only acceptable trade there is. Tethered to reality and physics, and holds that wealth over time. We need a money that cannot be debased and rug pulled out from under us. Can't be frozen out. Can't be zapped out of the system. We need a money that is issued by rule and code, not by men who can be bought and sold. The American empire is sinking and will go down no matter what. That ship is going down. Yes, America will still be here, but the people, her people, those are the real people. That's the real asset. That is America. The documents are America. That can be saved to continue creating new life. We just need to have faith, jump, and get in the life raft. Stay strong. If you appreciate this, please let me know. Like and subscribe. Please share it with someone you think could use this, needs this, is talking about FTX that crashes, the dollar, geopolitics, whatever's going on right now. Please mention some of the other videos we had in our article yesterday and our video yesterday about the monetary revolution in plain sight. And please go back to last week. Let me know what you think about, I have a video called What is Money? And it's one of the most important videos I've done. And it's an article as well, but it's kind of really what money truly is, the definition, like we said, talking about what is money exactly, and then that's the base foundation building on rock, and then everything you know after that can be built after that. That's the beauty of understanding what is money, and it's kind of the encapsulation of the last 12 years of my learning knowledge, sound money, Bitcoin, everything. So please go check that out. Let me know what you think. If you don't like it, please let me know also. Please let me know what you don't like, how we can provide better value, service to you, education, entertainment, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.